Howdy, sixth graders. Hope you're having a great day. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about one of the world's easiest things to do, and that is multiplying fractions. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to chat a little bit about fractions. So if you do me a favor, and if you take out a blank piece of note paper and our little topic up here into the category. Oops, I guess I'll go down a little bit farther here. We got our title is fractions. Fractions. And the little subheading under fractions would be multiplying them. Multiplying them. Multiplying fractions. Give you a chance to write that down. Okay. Before we go any farther into multiplication, I want to throw this out to you because this is one of the points, one of the things that kids just don't catch on to very easy that would make your life easy if you always see this and know to do this. In math, when you see the word of, just about always, of means to multiply. Of means to multiply. Because a lot of times, especially when it comes to fractions, somebody will say, well, what is 1/2 of something? And when we talk about 1/2 of something, we're actually multiplying by 1/2. Let's do 1/2 times 3/5. 1/2 times 3/5. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is this. People also get this a little bit confused with adding and subtracting. Point number one here. Point number one. You don't have to write those up and down. You don't write them up and down. Again, this is not adding and subtracting. You do write them across. Write them across. So back to our 1/2 of 3/5 simply means 1/2 times 3/5. And the rule for multiplying fractions, like I said, it doesn't get any easier than this. The rule for multiplying fractions is, it is just simply, you just multiply across. Multiply across. That means for my 1/2 times 3/5, I'm just going to multiply across. The two numerators times themselves give me my new numerator, and the two denominators times themselves give me my new denominator. So 1/2 times 3/5 is 3/10. Now step 4 is the same thing. We're going to write it down even though I don't think we'll have to deal with it a lot for tomorrow. Step 4, the last thing you always do with fractions is that goofy word we talked about, I think, before, simplify. And that will be changed to from improper to mixed or blah, 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 to whatever. That just means at the end we'll get to that actually very soon. But for right now, at the exact moment right now, you don't have to worry too much about it. Let's do another problem. What is how about 3/4 times 2/3? 3/4 times 2/3. Again, nothing could be easier than this, really. you end up with 3 times 2, which equals 6, and 4 times 3, which equals 12. Eventually, we'll reduce that to 1/2. You probably know it's 1/2, but for right now, we're just going to go with 6/12 and call it a day. Now, how about this? There are a few more tougher things to do here. What if I have 4? Oops, gosh, I hate when that happens. What if I have 4, write it over here, times 2/3? 4 times 2/3. Another thing we always have to realize is that these right now are not two fractions, but it is incredibly easy to make a whole number a fraction. I'm sure some of you are already screaming it out. To make a whole number a fraction, you just put it over 1. So 4 actually becomes 4 over 1. Probably rewrite that maybe a little nicer down here. So 4 over 1 times 2 over 3. And again, here we multiply across. 4 times 2 is 8, and 1 times 3 is 3. Now, because I believe we already have worked with this, remember that word simplify here? Well, that word simplify, you certainly know how to change improper to mixed, I think. Do we not? We are definitely going to have to divide 3 into 8. If you have to do the division problem, let's do it over here. 8 divided by 3 is 2. Gives me 6. And my leftover is 2. I put 2 over the 3. So my answer is 2 and 2/3 for that one there. 2 2/3 for that one there. Hopefully that's making sense. We'll do just a couple more. Let me scroll down a little bit here. Let's go with, how about 5/6 times 6/5? 5/6 times 6/5. Multiplying across, 6 times 5 is 30, and 5 times 6 is 30. Well, would you look over there? If you simplify 30 over 30, hopefully you can see that that's a big, fat, juicy 1. And one more just for fun. Let's make it this. What is 1/2 of 7? Well, you might know what half of 7 is, but we're going to do it mathematically here. Again, what do I do with 7? I put it over 1. Of means to multiply, so I get 7 over 1. I multiply across. For both of them, I get 7 over 2. And that's an improper fraction, so I have to change that to a mixed number. I divide 2 into 7. I get 3 with the remainder of 1, but I don't leave, never when I'm working with fractions will I ever leave anything as a remainder. I always make it a fraction. And you remember, you take the remainder and put it over the numerator. So my answer here is 3 1/2. 3 1/2. Hopefully, 7th grade or 6th graders, I'm sorry. Hopefully you got that. Hopefully that made a little bit of sense to you. And that's how multiplying fraction works. We